Blessings, everyone. Happy Wisdom Wednesdays. So glad to be here with you. So take a moment and say hello. Take a moment and say hello to me. So good to see you. So we are, hold on just one second. Hold on. Here we go. Okay, very good, very good. Here I am. So happy to be with you. My name is Reverend Denise Schubert. I am here with you representing Unity Naples. This is our Wisdom Wednesdays midweek service, a chance to come together, a chance to remember who we are, a chance to pay attention to our garden. I don't know how it is where you are, but where it is here is really, really wet, torrential rains. So we're enjoying the summer rain. It's always wonderful to be here. So take a moment, say hi. Hi, Jesse. How are you? Trish, Linda, EA, Karen, and Harold. Welcome. Blessings from all over the place. Germany, North Carolina. Hi, John. Blessings to you. So we're continuing on. We are in our amazing summer, tending our spiritual garden. We're tending the garden of our own lives. We're tending the garden of our Unity Naples spiritual community. We are paying attention to our consciousness, becoming conscious seed planters and weed pullers, though an interesting take on weeds tonight. I kind of want to talk about the weeds tonight. But before we do that, let's invite Amy and Jesse in for a little bit of musical inspiration. And then I will pray us in, and then we'll dive into what is ours to do tonight. I don't know if you've been joining us at Unity Naples recently, but it's just been such a great month. We're just having a wonderful month. Reverend Clive Delaporte will be with us again on Sunday. We look forward to his talk and his always inspiration. So at any rate, let me go fetch Amy and Jesse for us, and then we'll pray, and then we'll see what's ours to do tonight.
Evening, Wisdom Seekers. It's a joy to share this midweek service with you. Let's take a moment, close our eyes, turn inward, and enjoy this song. If you know it, sing along.
All good, holy, holy. All good, holy, holy. All in my mind, in my heart, in my soul. Let me know all is good, holy, holy. All love, holy, holy. All love, holy, holy. All in my mind, in my heart, in my soul. Let me know all is love, holy, holy. All peace, holy, holy. All peace, holy, holy. All in my mind, in my heart, in my soul. Let me know all is peace, holy, holy. All good, holy, holy. All good, holy, holy. All in my mind, in my heart, in my soul. Let me know all is good, holy, holy.
Oh, thank you, Amy and Jesse. All good, all good. Holy, holy. What a wonderful reminder. So let us just take this segue into speaking a word of blessing upon our being together tonight. So simply take a moment and turn within. A moment of conscious connection to the peace and the joy and the love that is to be located within you, that holy, holy place, that secret place of the Most High. And it's right there, right in the middle of our work, right in the middle of our play, right in the middle of our troubles, right in the middle of our celebrations. Right there, right in the middle of all of it is the power and the presence and the life of the infinite of the infinite. God the good, God the beautiful, God the wisdom, God the wise, God the joyful. This is the deeper truth of our existence. We are not the hamster wheel upon which we find ourselves most of the time. And so I simply bless this time. I bless each and every person on this call tonight, knowing that if you are here by divine appointment. If you are here, there is something here for you and something for you here. And so I know that we create this sacred circle and that we bless each other by our being together. And so for everything to come over the next half hour or so, we give thanks. We make it welcomed in our consciousness. We invite it into our garden of good. And we just simply allow it to be. And so join me in accepting this for yourself by simply saying, and so it is. Amen. Amen indeed. So we are continuing to tend our spiritual garden. The most important idea really in this entire series is that this is your life. This is our life. We may get multiple lives. I'm not sure. Are you sure? I'm not sure. Well, I'm pretty sure, but nonetheless, the one we have right in front of us is the one we get to pay attention to. And it needs our attention. Most of us, myself included, we roll through life going wherever the wind blows us. We go through life wherever somebody tells us to go. We go through life wherever pleasing the most people will take us. That we go through life simply, we wake up in the morning and whatever happens, happens. And if the New Thought teachings teach us anything, it is that we can be more intentional. We can actually plant the seeds we want to plant to have the life we want to live. And there are no rules about that. Just because your mother wants something or I want something or your lover wants something does not mean that it has to be that way. It truly does not mean that. There's something within us that we need to tap into, which allows us to architect our own life, a life of our own design, a life that will make us happy. And by the way, this does not, I need to get this light. This does not mean we are not a woo-woo people. I'm not a woo-woo person. You know what a woo-woo person is? I'm not that. I'm not that. And that in no way do I think that life should be all happy, all light, all love, all joy, all peace. Number one, if it was that way, I can't speak for you. But in my life, my most important experiences, my deepest, most profound and meaningful connections came out of adversity, or came out of what I would have called a problem, or came out of what I would have termed something that might have been going wrong. You lose a job, your spouse leaves you, you get a diagnosis, you have a cold, whatever it is, you have armadillos digging up your garden, whatever it is. So a spiritual life does not mean that we pretend, we call it spiritual bypass. When you say, oh, it's okay, it's all good. Sometimes it's just not all good. Sometimes life is hard. Sometimes life is really hard. But, we practice here, we learn how do we navigate that life from a spiritual perspective rather than a human one. Because always, it does not matter what it is, always we have one of two choices. We can view it from the spirit or we can view it from the ego. And the ego really would have you think that something's broken or that you're broken. And the spirit will never, never, ever say that to you. Spirit will never present to you this idea that something else should be happening other than what's happening. So my topic today really came out of this past Sunday's talk. And I don't know if you were on this past Sunday's talk, but we were talking about weeds and how to pull the weeds out of your garden. And I realized when I was preparing for this talk, I'm sorry, hold on. So sorry. So sorry. Oops, faux pas. My ego says, oh, Denise, turn your phone off. And my spirit says, honey, it's okay. So this talk on weeds was very complicated because in some ways it is very, very true that we find ourselves with our lives not exactly the way that we would have them in our perfect world, right? We're doing things we don't want to do. We're married to people we don't want to be married to. We're not married to people we do want to be married to. We're in jobs we don't really like. And all those things are true. And all those things have arisen in our lives by how we think, how we feel, what we say, our self-esteem, our attitudes, our beliefs. And part of our teaching is to learn how to think differently so that we can have a different outcome 10 years from now, right? Or 2 years from now. I want you to be in a job you love. I want you to have a relationship that thrills your very soul. I want you to have a healthy, strong body so that you can do what's yours to do. Do you understand? I want you to have all those things. And I know that you can have all those things by change your thinking, change your mind. So when we talk about weeds, we're talking about how do we dig into our garden and pluck out the I am not worthy thoughts? How do we pluck out the my life is limited because I don't have a college education? How do we pluck out this idea that life is hard and or how do we pluck out, how do we pull out the manifestations of those thoughts that we don't want to see the manifestation of anymore? That is a very viable, true, wonderful practice. And sometimes, we talked last week about sometimes we don't know why we feel unworthy. We don't actually consciously remember deciding that we weren't good enough or that we weren't as smart as everyone else, or that we couldn't accomplish what everyone else could accomplish. We don't know when we decided that the rich get rich and the poor get poorer and which side of the track am I on. We don't know that. So we talked about last Sunday this idea that you don't have to really know that. You just continue to affirm the truth. I repudiate the idea that I am limited. I am a spiritual being, limitless. I live in a field of unlimited possibility. You say that enough, and the I'm unworthy seed and weed in you will disappear without you doing anything. So there's something very powerful about approaching our life from that standpoint. Your job is to be affirmative, to deny and turn away from the false appearances. But somebody was leaving the church the other day, and this is what she said to me, and I loved it. She said, at the end of the service, I go to the front of the room and people walk by and say hi. And she's walking out. She says, well, the only difference between a flower and a weed is judgment. And I said, that's true. That is true. That is true, because there are some beautiful weeds and there are some beautiful flowers. And some people call the weeds ugly, but some people really love the weeds. And it's probably, there's a very wonderful spiritual teacher. Her name is Byron Katie. And she writes a book about loving what is. So if there's a weed in your garden, it doesn't really work to rail against the weed if you don't want it to be there. There's really no value in going around saying, oh, I hate that weed in my garden. I just hate it. I just can't stand it. It's ugly and I don't want it to be there. Boo-hoo. It's not a very powerful approach So the weeds sometimes can be really perfect, just right where they are, and that we surround them. There's, I think Reverend Eileen's doing another book study about the same subject, like love, whatever it is, love that. So I think that it's a very powerful practice and worthy of your consideration to see if we can accept everything in our garden by through ownership. That if it's there, it's yours. It's yours for enjoying. It's yours for growing. It's yours for changing. It's yours for information. And rather than being against it, being against the weed, and being so hell-bent on extracting it, can we embrace it? Can we soften around it? Can we explore its value? Can we just plant a new flower? Say, I see you. I see you there, Mr. Weed, but I'm going to plant some more roses. Or I see you there, Mr. Weed of lack and limitation, but I'm going to sow some more seeds of prosperity, so that we actually begin to simply populate the garden of our life with more of what we want and less of what we don't want. And either way, it's a right of consciousness. Either way, we are in charge of our thinking, and we're in charge of how we think. We're in charge of what we think. We're in charge of when we think. We really have way more influence over how things get to be the way that they are in not only our lives, but also in the lives of everyone we know. So I think Amy and Jesse, by the way, thank you both for doing last Wednesday for me. We had a great meeting on campus. And I think you asked this question, what is keeping us from planting the garden you want? And it's a really great question. It really is a great question. Like, as more exploring what remember, the universe says yes to us. Whatever we say, the universe says yes. So many times we fight for our limitations. You say to me, well, I'm limited. And I say, you're not limited. You live in a field of unlimited possibilities. And you say, yeah, but you don't know my situation. And I say, well, I've talked to so many hundreds and hundreds of people, and there's only about 7 situations. Everybody, we share situations. Nobody has a really unique situation, like unique to them, like nobody's ever had that situation before. Do you know what I mean? Like, if your problem is that you're short, a lot of people are short. If your problem is you're tall, a lot of people are tall. If you didn't go to college, a lot of people didn't go to college. Doesn't mean they don't have good paying jobs, and short people can be happy and tall people can be happy. Lots of people's parents get divorced. Many, 80% of all female people have been sexually assaulted at some time in their lives. Not all 80% suffer life, debilitating experiences out of that experience. Almost all of us have been lied to or lied to somebody. It's like we share in our dysfunction as we share in our growth. And it's all about waking up. It's all about, I am a spiritual being having a spiritual experience, and I'm going to call everything that's ever happened to me the way it should be. But now I'm going to more skillfully and more intentionally create the life of my choosing. I choose to be happy. And this is not woo-woo stuff. It's like, if we can all do this, we will end war on this planet. We will end hunger on this planet. We will end people walking into grocery stores with guns. We will end depression and addiction. If we can all do this, it will end. In our lifetime? I don't know. In my lifetime, in 10 years, will I see the end of hunger in my lifetime? I don't know. But I'm going to try, right? So you can join me in trying as well. So anyway, if there are any questions, I don't know where you guys all are, but if you have questions or want to, you can ask in the chat. I think what I might do is have Amy and Jesse come back in a minute. This is Pride Month. So we're in the middle of Pride Month. So I'll call out to all of our, in support of all of our gay, lesbian, and other friends, that knowing our oneness. We say at Unity Naples every week, wherever you are and whoever you are welcome here. That we are one, we are the same, we are not different. You are my brother and you are my sister, right? So we just celebrate Pride Month with you. They actually moved the Pride's activities and celebrations to November because of COVID, to have a freer, more open experience. So we'll recycle Pride in November as a community. But Amy and Jesse have a very special song, so let me go fetch them for you, and they'll share it with us. And then we'll come back and see if you have any questions or there anything else to talk about. So bear with me for just a minute. And here they come.
Hello. On this special month of Pride, we want to send love to all of our friends and family and allies of the LGBTQAI+ community. And this song is for you. Know that here at Unity, you are welcome and you are loved and you are perfect.
You with the sad eyes, don't be discouraged, oh I realize it's hard to take courage in a world full of people. You can lose sight of it all, and the darkness inside you make you feel so small. But I see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors, and that's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show. I see your true colors. Your true colors are beautiful like a rainbow. Show me a smile then. Don't be unhappy, can't remember when I last saw you laughing. If this world makes you crazy and you've taken all you can bear, just call me up and you know I'll be there. 'Cause I see your true colors shining through. Yeah, I see your true colors, and that's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show. I see your true colors. Your true colors are beautiful. Yeah, I see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors, and that's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show. I see your true colors. Your true colors are beautiful like a rainbow.
Yay! Thank you, Amy and Jesse. I've been doing ministry and teaching spiritual education to people for a long time. And one of the things I love is that when you put people into a room, you can take 20 people. That's about the perfect number for a class. And they come in on the first day and they're all really shy and, kind of not really sure if they can be themselves, if they can share their true colors, if they can really be authentic and real. And by the 10th week, there is nothing but love in the room. And it does not matter whether you're a man or a woman, doesn't matter if you're handsome and beautiful or not so much, doesn't matter if you have a good history or bad history, that when people come together and you can get underneath the surface, the thing that always happens is love. It's like people are just waiting for permission to be love bunnies, right? To show their soft underbelly. So that's kind of what we're doing here, folks. We are falling in love, and we're wanting to really break down all the barriers between ourselves and others, and learn how to get along and learn how to co-create together. And it's not always easy, but it is always, always, always worth it. So I love to say that love is a truth between our souls, whether we've met or never met. And so let us pray within that consciousness tonight together. We're going into our third week of June, right? We have wonderful rest of this month. I was told you we have Reverend Clive Delaporte on Sunday. We have Reverend Claudia is coming back to us the following Sunday. We have a fabulous 4th of July picnic coming up. I hope everybody who lives here can come out and bring your children. We've rented 2 big bouncers, one with water, so it's going to be a really great time. We're going to have an ice cream bar, and it's so good to be able to come back together again. My prayer for you, as I will pray in a moment, is that you find more peace than you have ever had, that you find more happiness than you have ever had. So again, Reverend Denise Schubert here with you, with Amy Jesse from Unity Naples. While I pray, you have an opportunity to give back, to give your financial support keeps us rolling and keeps us coming back for more. So you can text to give. If you don't want to do that, you can simply go to unitynaples.org and give online. And we just totally appreciate your support and your love. And knowing that the giver and the receiver are blessed. You know, we have some investment in the things that we support with our time and our treasures. So with that said, let us take a moment and turn within together. I'm going to pray with you, pray for you, pray for all of us. Just a reminder for those of you who are new to New Thought, that we don't pray to an external God in the sky. We don't really believe in that God. We believe in the indwelling presence of God, this beauty, this intelligence, this awe, this mystery that is the very essence of who we are. And it is that golden thread that connects us one to another. So we pray to align ourselves with the truth that sets us free. And so join me once again. Take a deep, deep collective community in-breath. Just exhale it out for a moment. Whew. Yeah, let those shoulders drop. Let your eyes soften. Let your mind soften. And we start at the beginning, which is to recognize in this moment that we did not make ourselves, that we did not make the sunsets, we did not make the valleys and the mountains, we did not make the armadillos, we did not make anything, that we simply have been made by the same intelligence and beauty that has made everything. And we are equally as important to the grand scheme of creation. And so this power and this presence, I happen to call it God. You can call it life. You can call it the infinite. You can call it quantum physics. You can call it nature. It doesn't matter what you call it. Just recognize that it is your life. And it is that which connects you to me and to each other. And so I recognize in this moment that my life and God's life are one life. I am what thou art what I am. And it is in that awareness that I am innocent. It is in that awareness that I am harmless. It is in this awareness that you are innocent, perfect, whole, complete, and beautiful. And that's true for you. It's true for every single person, no matter how unaware of that truth they are. And so it is from that awareness that I speak my word, my positive, affirmative, powerful word that becomes a law unto itself, claiming and knowing for each one of us that we are on purpose beings, that we have a right and a reason to be here, that we have unique gifts and talents to impart, that we have permission from the master permission giver to be love bunnies, that there is nothing to fear. There's nothing to worry about. There's nothing to doubt, that our way is made straight. The mountains are leveled and the valleys are exalted by our love of our self-love, our self-worth, our self-respect. We give those to ourselves and we automatically give them to everyone around us. I bless our families, our children, our grandparents, our parents, all of the unborn children who have yet to populate this amazing planet that's been created for us. And so I claim for us this week happiness, peace, peace of mind, joy, joie de vivre, a joy of life. God never intended for us to suffer or to sacrifice. We have been made as original blessings to luxuriate in this planet and this experience that we have the right and the privilege to live. And so I'm grateful. So I just simply release my words into this receptive universe. It's just, they've been caught and they are being manifested. The garden is being grown even in this moment. And so go plant your seeds of good for yourselves. Bless the weeds and pluck them if you want. And simply go forth. And so we're grateful to come together for the moments we've spent. We move into our week empowered. And we let this be together by saying, and so it is. Amen. All right. So happy Wisdom Wednesdays to you. So happy to be with all of you, to see all of your shiny faces right there in my chat room. And I will see you on Sunday, or I will see you on next Wednesday. Again, Amy and Jesse, thank you so much for joining us. As always, you are such a blessing and a beacon of light unto my world. And that's it. Go out and have a great evening. See you. Love to you. Peace.